let me just explain. About a year ago, St. John's and our North Carolina Lutherans for Life started talking about doing something on sex trafficking. And then the movie came out, Sound of Freedom. By the way, how many saw that? Yeah, it's a pretty powerful movie. I think it's out on, you can watch it at home, I think, now. Angel Studios? Okay. But, and that really brought up the topic. The bad thing is how many people were against the movie, which tells you something, that child trafficking is something that has been commonly accepted in a lot of the elite quarters of our society. And when you think of Jeffrey Epstein and some of the stuff that he was involved in, that's child sex trafficking. That's exactly what it is. So the reason we chose to do this here at St. John's in the middle of Catawba County is because we tend to think that that's a big city problem. That's a Charlotte problem and an Atlanta problem and an LA problem. And it is problems there. But quite honestly, this is a key area too, because we have two interstates that come near here. And child trafficking happens around us too. Most of the time we just don't see it. We don't know it. And the main thing we're concerned about is we want to protect our children and our grandchildren. And so awareness is going to be the key thing. And we're excited that the young people are here. But I'm excited for you, not quite as young people, are here too, because you can talk about this with your families, your children, your grandchildren, and you can make sure they know some of the key danger signs. Because to be forewarned is to be forearmed, and that's our whole goal. We are excited to have an expert presenter. He sounds good. He looks good. He's paying me to say all this. Yes.
You get the video on Amazon for $20.
All right, so you can even buy that movie, The Sound of Freedom.
Or you can rent it on Prime.
Or you can rent it. The key line in that movie is God's children are not for sale. And that's what I wholeheartedly believe, and that's why we're doing this. God's children should not be for sale. And somebody's got to stand up. That's all of us. So this gentleman, this fine-looking, smooth-talking gentleman, I'm milking this for all I can get from him, is my friend, and I think that looks bad on him, but Josh Robertson. I've been his friend for 20 years. You were young. But he works for the Catawba County Sheriff's Department. This is a topic that they're very concerned about as well, and he's put together a presentation for us. We will be live streaming and recording this, so it'll be on St. John's YouTube page. If you want to show this to someone else, you will have the opportunity to do that just by going to St. John's. And without any further ado, Josh Robertson, my friend.
Good afternoon. My name's Deputy Josh Robertson. I've been with the Catawba County Sheriff's Department 11 and a half years. Been in law enforcement almost 18 years now. They asked me a couple months ago to come up with some things about sex trafficking, so it's not a whole lot here, but it's just what to look for, and it's basic stuff that people just overlook. I've got a couple videos that we're going to go through, and it shows you kind of takes what I've got on the PowerPoint and puts it to perspective where you can see it on the video. I got my buddy Darren Yang with me today. He's also an SRO with us here at the Sheriff's Department. Both of us work. What school are you at now? St. Stephen's Elementary. I left the elementary and I'm now at Catawba Valley Community College. So we deal with kids every day, Monday through Friday. So this is the kind of stuff we look for while we're at work. And we'll get right into it. And at the end, the big questions. He's been in the SVU in the criminal investigation part of it, so he's here to help me answer what I don't know. So basically, here's the objectives we're going to go over today. What is sex trafficking? What do you need to look for? What to do if you suspect you or someone else is in danger? And who you can contact for information on sex trafficking and how to get involved with helping fight sex trafficking. So basically, start off with the definition of sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is the recruitment, harboring, transportation, provision, obtaining, patronizing, and soliciting of a person for the purpose of commercial sex act in which A commercial sex act is induced by force, fraud, or coercion in which the person induced to perform such an act has not obtained 18 years of age. Women and children have been fighting the sex trafficking rings for many years, and in the early 1900s it actually became a political problem here in the United States. What the pastor said earlier, we have so many interstates that come through Catawba County in North Carolina. We're ranked 9th in the nation for human and sex trafficking. It's most of the kids that are trafficked in our state, the traffickers come from other states. They come down, snatch them, and then a lot of the times we don't find them. The 4 P's of trafficking: prosecute, partner, protect, and prevent. By prevention, we reduce the vulnerability of survivors through awareness, empowerment, and support. The more we prosecute, it costs them money to get in and out of jail, and therefore their money cost goes down, and they stop doing the trades as much because they're losing this part of it as well. The protection part: the government and non-government organizations support survivors to acknowledge and rehabilitate them. We try to keep the survivors from getting the PTSD because they see a lot if we don't rescue them, or when they do get rescued. If they're in for several years, it's hard to forget stuff like that. The partnership, it's kind of like what we're doing today. We're getting together with people in society to try to get together, and I'll show you at the end, there's I think it's one of the counties close by. A lady come up with a place that they go to, and she'll teach you everything you need to know about what to look for, and you can actually partner with them and give money and then help them fight some sex trafficking as well. You can.
Well, I was just wondering about the 18-year-old. That was the limit on the definition?
That's just the basic definition you're going to find. It goes up into the early 20s and stuff like that. But if you look it up, it's usually like 12 to 14, something like that. But they usually try to cut it off around 18. Because you're more vulnerable, basically, is what they're looking for. Vulnerable men and women. It's not just women. Yes.
I'd make a recommendation.
Go ahead.
What was the question?
She said, what about the age of 18?
That way we can visit on that too.
All right.
So, I mean, is it a different definition, though? Like, it's categorized differently?
It's not really categorized differently. It's just they know once you get older, like an adult age, you're gonna fight back as much. If they get you younger, you're more apt to. You're not fully developed in your brain yet, I guess, and you're easier to go with them. Yeah, because they're gonna promise you the world, and you're like, oh wow. But if you're like a 30, 40-year-old woman, they're like, nah, you need to go on somewhere. So things to look for. Most people don't know what to look for when you're looking at a kid or young adults being trafficked. A lot of times they're going to solicit your kid or you online. They're going to friend you on social media. I know I have Facebook and I get friend requests daily from people I don't even know. When a kid starts accepting friends requests from people they don't know, and then they start asking questions: where do you live? What do you do for fun? You want to meet me here? And a lot of times your trafficker is going to put a picture of a 13, 14, 15-year-old boy or girl on there to make you think you're talking to another teenager, but in reality they're my age or older. And most of your kids are like, well, it's just another teenager. They'll get to talking to you, giving you all the information, and then they'll talk to you and then want you to meet them somewhere. And I work at the mall a lot here in our county, and there's kids 12, 13, 14 years old running around without their parents. I would never do that because, I mean, what we see every day, you have to look at the future. You know, not everybody's bad, but you got to look and say, okay, well, that guy might not be up to good. You can't really do that, but you can't trust your kids at that age either not to go with somebody they don't know. Like I said earlier, they're looking for vulnerability. So if you meet somebody out and if they're chatting with you and they're like, well, my home life is terrible. I want this, I want that, or say if they're poor or whatever, or if they know they're chatting to an older person, the older person's going to be like, well, I'll give you this. I'll give you what you don't have. And it makes them want to go with them, and then it traps them. And then they're stuck. And then they run away. Most of them run away at night when the parents are asleep. And then we wake up in the morning and we get the phone calls, hey, my kid's gone. So then we have to start from there. We have to go through their computers, their phones, anything they left behind. Is that correct? So, a lot of the things you're going to look for too is if you're out and you see a lot of kids that won't make eye contact with law enforcement, won't make eye contact with anybody but the person they're with. They could have a strict home, but sometimes it could be the traffickers taking them out and they're saying, hey, don't you look at anybody, don't you say a word. So, and a lot of the times, what I've read and looking this stuff up, if they go and they check into a hotel or something, they refer to the trafficker as dad or father or something like that, and they keep them close by so they can't get away. And again, we're going on the internet safety. It's okay to have social media, and I know some of you teenagers in here have social media, but is your mind right to have social media? Are you paying attention to what your kids are looking at on social media? You know, my 16-year-old don't have social media because I don't think he's old enough to have social media. And that's, you know, every kid is different. So, thanks, Evie. But I mean, every kid is different. You know, I've met kids in the school systems that are brilliant and really have a good head on their shoulders, and then you have some that are in high school that don't look like they've, you know, mentally aged very well. They're still adolescent. You know, we deal with that every day. You know, even in the elementary schools, we've dealt with kids that you wouldn't think would act the way they do. And then you're dealing with kids in elementary that, you know, you think they were in high school if you talk to them. So you need to, if you give your kid a phone, we give ours, 10, 11 years old, I think. Don't give the internet to them. It's just for communication only. If they go spend the night with a friend, you know, or if we run to the store and they're a teenager, I'm like, hey, I'll call you if I need something. Because most people don't have house phones, right? Not anymore. Just, if you do give them social media, go back, see what they're looking at. You pay the phone bill. If they tell you no, take the phone away. You know, I know you teenagers are not going to like that, but I've taken my kids' phones. Yeah, I've taken my kids' phones several times. Yes, I've taken my son's several times. Just pay attention to who they're talking to, who they're texting. And I hate to say it, but most of the time, it is somebody wishing them the world that, because no kid's ever happy 100% of the time at home, because if we structurally ground them, or if they do something bad, we'll take stuff away from them, we're mean. Well, that person that they're talking to is going to be like, no, I'll give you this, I'll never do that. And they're like, well, cool, that sounds like a world I want to live in. And then when they're there, they're gone. They have no choices. They're stuck. So I'm going to go over a couple of videos here. This kind of puts into point what I was talking about, why your kids shouldn't have internet and you don't pay attention to it. And some people I know as early as toddlers, you give them a cell phone and it's like a babysitter. So in this, I think it's this first video, they give this girl a phone for her birthday, and I know this first one's based on a true events. It just goes to show you why you need to pay attention. So this little girl just got this phone for her birthday, and she's getting random texts from different people.
When it's time for lunch. Coming. Mom said no phones at the table. Not like Mom's here. I didn't buy you that phone so you can be on it all day. I can still take it back. Whatever. Yeah. He said no. Shut up. Can I shut off the light now? No, I'm saying no. Mom said to put your phone away. I don't care. I'm almost done anyway. What are you guys talking about? Nothing. Shut off the light now.
See, the trafficker guilt tripped her into making a Facebook. Because kids, they want to please people, especially people they don't know.
Hey, it's Saturday. Mom told me to make you play outside. I don't want to play outside. Then go read a book or something. No.
You see the picture he's using? It's of a kid.
to get something. I'll be right back. Could I come? No, go ask Kaylee to play with you.
So he made a picture of a teenage boy to meet her, and kids are gullible. She went and met him. There is no Sam, and she never came home. And that's based on a true story that they made, to do awareness of, why you should pay attention. Don't let them have social media. Another big one is Snapchat. It's got the map on there, and if you don't turn off your location, it'll show you exactly where you're at. When I coached softball for many years, and one of my kids had their Snapchat on. They were in like Las Vegas or whatever, and her location was on. So I zoomed in, and it showed me exactly what building she was in. So I texted her and said, "How's the building look?" And she's like, "How do you know?" I said, "Turn your locations off." So I kept up with my softball girls. I managed their social media, and they didn't like it, but I'm like, "You're my girls. I'm going to treat you like my kids. You've got to be safe." So I made them all turn. You got to turn them to ghost mode. Ghost mode will not show your location. And a lot of people on Facebook, when it comes up and it says about me, people have their cell phone numbers on there, their addresses, who they're married to. Don't put that stuff on there. Who you're married to is fine, but not your address, not your cell phone numbers. People take advantage of that like this right here. They'll text you out of nowhere. I get texts all the time about my car warranty, so I don't know. I think it's paid up. Here's another one. It's the parents. Okay, the parents hooked up with this guy right here, and they didn't trust their kids. They said, "My kid's not going to do this. They're not going to meet you." So they hooked up with this guy here, and he made a fake profile with the parents' permission to see if he can lure their kids in, and you'll see how it goes. Parents are not happy.
How easy is it for a pedophile to pick up an underage child using social media? Well, today we're going to find that out. I made a fake profile on Facebook posing as a 15-year-old boy. With the parents' permission, I friend requested 3 girls ages 14, 13, and 12 years old. I've been talking to these girls for the last 3 or 4 days, and today we're supposed to meet up. What we found in this video is shocking and something everyone should see. Be sure to watch until the end and use what we've learned in this video to better educate your friends and family. Hope you guys enjoy the video. This first girl, her name is Michaela. She's 13 years old. We've been talking on Facebook for the last couple of days, and we're supposed to meet up at the park later when her parents leave the house. I'm just waiting right now to get the text that her parents have left the house. So I just got a text. My parents just left. I can be at the park in 10 minutes. We're going to go see if she comes in 10 minutes. We're going to go right now, set up all the cameras, and just be waiting there for her. So she said she's going to meet me at the park playground. So this is the closest to her house, she said. So right now I'm texting her. I just got here. All right, we'll just wait. See what she says. She said, "Okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes." She's coming, yeah. Michaela? On Facebook.
Michaela! Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Sorry.
He could have been a rapist. He could have been a pedophile. Why would you do this?
Yeah, you know that. I could have been anyone. Like, you talked to me for the last 4 days. You've been talking to me on Facebook. You know that, like, you shouldn't talk to strangers, especially online. Like, I wasn't even do I look the same as my picture? It could be even worse than that. You realize how scary this could have been? We have to talk. This next girl, her name is Juliana. She's 12 years old, and we're supposed to meet up tonight when her father falls asleep. So right now I'm here with John, who's Juliana's father. We're going to see if she's actually going to come to the door or not. She said, this was the last text, LOL, I would have to wait till my dad falls asleep if you want to chill, because I can't have boys over. So she wants to chill tonight, supposedly. What do you think about that?
I don't think she's going to open the door. God, I hope she doesn't open that door.
What's your address?
I pray She didn't respond to this.
Well, I can't say the address, but she just literally just texted the address. So I drove into the address close by. My dad's going to drop me off. All right, so she just said, I think my dad fell asleep. You can come now.
Yes.
I'm outside. Come to the front door.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? How can you do this? You're 12 years old. You said 20 years old. You could have been raped and murdered. We already lost your mother. What would I do if anything happened to you? What would I do if anything happened to you? I love you. Don't you ever do this again. Don't you ever do anything like this again.
So there's one more on this video that does the same thing. The parents meet up and the kid comes out and gets into a car because Colby here texted him and said, hey, I'm sending my brother over to get you. Just get in with him and he'll bring you where I'm at. Well, the parents are hiding in the back of the van. She gets on and she said, hey, is your brother here? Nope. And then the parents grab her from the back. She starts screaming. They said, we could have been somebody trying to kill you or kidnap you. So this is another reason like at night, in my opinion, you should take the teenage phone away from them. If stuff like this happens, idle minds just they get curious. That's my opinion. I mean, you can parent however you want to, but that's my opinion. Take the phone away from them if they're that young at night. And you got to remember too, well, adults don't understand this either. What you post on the internet is always going to be there. You might hit delete, but somebody else has already saved it. And once it's saved, it's in the cloud up there somewhere, right, Donnie? And you're not going to get it deleted. So as soon as you post something on Snapchat or somebody or Facebook, somebody will save it. And once I think usually on Snapchat it'll tell you somebody saved it, and it's already there. There's no getting it back because then it's shared, and then you don't know where it's at. So the next two are kind of like what you share, people are going to see.
How do you know that? Come on, Donna, do it like a caution. Love the new tattoo, Sarah. Let's go! Hey, that's Sarah. The girl in the pink shirt. That's the girl I was telling you about. Oh, that's Sarah?
Theater 2 on your left. Hey, Sarah. What color underwear today?
You never know who's going to see what you post.
Hey, Sarah. So when are you going to post something new?
Anything you post online, anyone can see. Family, friends.
See you later, Sarah.
Even not so friendly people. Think before you post.
So luckily on this one, she didn't really do anything but post stuff that she probably shouldn't have. Nobody's really threatened her or tried to blackmail her. Now on this one right here, this girl messed up and met somebody online she had never seen before and just decided to do something for him, and he hooked her real quick.
I can't stop thinking about you. I know you've been waiting for this for a while. I want you to do something special.
Who are you? Why are you doing this?
So it's easy to get hooked when you send that first thing, and they might not do anything the first time like he did, but they might wait till you keep doing it, kind of gain your trust, and then you're hooked. Like him, he was saving everything she sent and had a whole file of different girls he was talking to. Back to where I was going here. Any questions so far? All right. Do what?
Can we put our kids in a bubble?
You can. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but you can try it. So basically, your internet settings here, set strict privacy settings if you're going to let your kids do it. Beware of strange friend requests. Don't overshare things. I know I'm bad about it too. We go on vacation and like, well, that's a good picture of the beach with our kids. Share it. You know, stuff like that's fine. But if you're going to do that, wait till you get home. Don't post things like this. Is not really about internet safety, but it's about your safety. You're posting, we're at the beach till next Sunday. Look how beautiful it is. People are going to break into your house because you just said you're not home till next Sunday. So that and not only may they steal something, but they can see and look and get information about your family, and they might track you down that way. You know, okay, well, I know they like to do this, I know they like to do that. Well, I'll meet them here and see if she goes here, or they might see pictures of your kid at your school. You know, there's different ways they can get you, and they pay attention. If you see something, flag it. Don't share it. We'll get into it here in just a minute, but you can call the sheriff's department. We'll look into it. We have people for that. Tell the SRO at the school. You know, we'll look into it. If we think there's something to it, then we'll go to the next step. We'll take care of it. Beware the advertisements that seem to be too good to be true. You know, traffickers, they can use the catchy language. And hey, come here, we pay this amount. You know, stress-free. I want a job like that. So, but a teenager's like, wow, I can make this much and not do this and not do that. They're going to go to it, and then it could be fake, and they can snatch you up that way. Knowing the warning signs of the trafficking, like I said, if it's somebody you don't know, or if it's what I like to do, if somebody sends me a friend's request, I look and see how many friends we have in common, how many pictures they have in common. There's probably 30, 40 people a month that send me friend requests for somebody I'm already friends with, but they use that person's picture. And so I go there and I say, well, how many pictures do they have? And they have like the one profile picture. I said, well, that's spam. Delete. So pay attention. You know, go ahead.
Are they just trying to gain information on you when they do that? Because I get these.
Yes, I mean they'll try to gain information from anybody. You know.
But if they are, you're seeing your posts.
Yeah, but what they'll do is they'll friend you and they'll let it sit for a little bit, and then they'll instant message you and like, hey, how are you doing today? I'm like, well, okay, I'm doing fine. How are you? I just seen you at church. You know, and then they're like, well, I'm good. You know, and then they're like, they'll keep going down and trying to carry on a friendly conversation, and 9 times out of 10 they'll send you this link. Hey, check this link out, and it's some kind of sex link or whatever, trying to get you to spend money. It's a trafficker trying to get money. So if I don't tell you, yeah, well they try to do that because sometimes I'm in a hurry and I'm like, oh shoot, I thought we were already friends, and I would hit it, and then I would start getting messages right after that. And I'm like, well, you know your friend better than anybody else most of the time. I'm like, well, they wouldn't talk to me that way on the internet. And then they, well, click on this link. I'm like, well, I know that's not her. I know that's not him. So.
Sometimes they'll ask for money too.
So you put that whole, if I know someone's name, I can find out a lot of stuff. And it's accessible to everybody else in the world. So, you can see about the internet. Who wants to be looked for?
I volunteer.
All right. What's your name, sir?
Reverend Scott Johnson.
Oh, so this is Johnson.
Oh, I have a lot about my identity.
We can look at Scott Johnson. And this is if Scott's Facebook says Scott Johnson on there. But Johnson is a common name, so we don't see what to make that idea. Bad example.
There's two Pastor Scott Johnsons that I'm aware of.
See,
So I'm not the
you
only
set me up. Okay, over there. See, there's someone else who can just probably.
Katie Kwan.
Oh, sorry?
Katie Kwan.
Is it Katie or Catherine?
KTIE. CLONTZ.
All right. You want to call for it?
How old are you? Well, there's a couple on here.
42.
Hickory.
You live in Hickory? Yeah.
All right, so we have I don't want to block that out.
Well, it's not showing up here.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So we're good. But I now know where you live.
Seriously?
Yep.
Individuals want to have
Everything.
Maverick House, everything. So, if I want to find you, like you have a Facebook account or Snapchat, what's the real name on there? Then I can at least use stuff from the internet to, and thank you for not putting it up there.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, at least that way I know where you're at. If you're general, if you mark that you are from Hickory, North Carolina, or Concord, or wherever, then I can, popular elimination, I can find who you are, and then I can get your address, and then you can come scope you out, and then we're going to dig for more information.
Go ahead.
To be fair, that information is public. You can find it on GIS's website.
Yeah, see, I don't exist on GIS. Like law enforcement, we don't exist on GIS. You can look up my house number, and it's blank. She don't exist on GIS.
You don't because you're law enforcement.
Yeah, and that goes with her.
Yeah.
So like,
but the rest of you do because you have own land.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that I can't be found. You can go under the voter registration, and I'm found over there. I exist on there. And he's right. I GIS a lot of things in my job, especially if I'm going to a call I don't know about, or if I'm going to go mow grass for somebody I don't know. I will GIS and see where I'm going.
We use at work sometimes when we can't find white papers. You can pay a couple bucks and you know everything about somebody in white papers. Anything like that.
I had an uncle.
Addresses, emails.
I had an uncle I was looking for, and I used white pages. I paid like $10.
Yeah.
And I found everything. I haven't seen him since I was a kid. I found it.
So at least if you don't put on Facebook where you live, then it'd be a whole lot harder to find you, right? Because you wouldn't know exactly what location you're in.
Unless you own the house with GIS and stuff like that. But if you own the house, you're on GIS.
As far as like finding someone on Facebook, if you don't know the city, it'd be hard.
It's hard.
To narrow down.
A lot of the times though, if I'm looking for people that I know, it'll say we have like 100 mutual friends or whatever. A lot of times that's what I'm looking for. Snapchat, Facebook, stuff like that helps us solve crimes all the time because people post everything. Especially when I worked at the high school, kids would do something, they would go vandalize something. Oh, this is cool. Snapchat, and I won't say who my informant is, but she lives in the same house as me. So she, to y'all that know me, you know who that is. But she like, Dad, did you see this on Snapchat? I'm like, nope. I called the kid in the next day. I'm like, what were you doing last night? Well, nothing. I'm like, should I call your dad? Oh, no. So I mean, there are good people out there, especially the one if you raise them right. You're going to get caught. Criminals get caught. It's just a matter of time. We may be looking for these people for years, but that's what cold case crimes and stuff are for. I mean, we had one solved in Longview that the other day. How old was it? It's like that murder of that young man. It was several. It was like 20, 30 years old, and they solved it. And you're always going to where? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
If you live within Catawba County and you're in a city or town limit, are you better off calling the sheriff's department or the police department?
You can call. You can call whoever's going to respond to your house. If you call 911, that's who you could call. You can. Obviously, we have the whole county. So you can call the sheriff's department if you want to.
I didn't know about staffing or could say concerns about.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you see something like this, you're going to want your local PD to know. And then what normally happens if we catch something, we send out emails that way everybody knows. So we get stuff from High Point, different counties all the time. Like it's like an Amber Alert, I guess. If it happens down in Greensboro, we're going to get it up here because your phone starts going off. So tell them, and then they'll let us know. And if you get nowhere, if you feel like you don't get nowhere, go talk to the chief, go talk to the sheriff. And we stay so busy, we don't want to say things get lost. And don't think we're not working on this stuff, but sometimes we have crimes that are happening right then that we have to jump on, quick. But this is always a concern to us.
I have something.
Yes.
Somebody knocked on my window last night in the middle of the night. Who do I tell? And I'm serious.
Well, that's a prowler call, basically.
So you'll call law enforcement, and we'll come out and we'll be in the area.
Right.
So we take like at night. We call that a prowler call.
Okay.
So we'll come out and we'll check it out. So, yes.
So is this the only? I mean, I'm sure it's not the only. Like, when I was younger, we were always afraid of just being. My dad would say, "They're going to snatch you. You better stay close to me when you're in stores, when you're in places." Is that still go on, or is this the main way they're getting children now?
They use social media a lot now because it's so easy. Everybody has it. Obviously, like I said before, you don't want your kids to be little and in the mall by themselves. You don't want them to get far away. Because anybody heard of John Walsh? Yeah, his kid Adam got taken by letting him just wander just a little bit. Keep an eye on your kids like that.
Yeah, with technology now, back in the old days, it was just basically crime was more simple. Okay, because you want to steal something, you got to go sell it somewhere or get rid of it somehow. Now with technology and with the power of the internet, you don't have to be that person who goes and snatches other kids. You can buy the videos from people who does that. There's so many different levels of offenders that we have. If you want, a lot of people want to know why this happens. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Okay, it's not maybe new to some people, but it's not new to me. It brings them billions of dollars every year. Just customers. In America alone, we have over 200 some groups that are pro pedophile. They have created groups they join. So there is a business here. And in your question there, we are always wanting to address the worst of the worst. Where somebody's hiding in the bushes and they're gonna pick up or snatch your child in a white unmarked van and then disappear. And that's just the highest of highs. That's what makes the movies. But we are dealing with the lowest level where it could be an uncle on a niece or stepdad or whatever the case is. And I'm not saying all stepdads are bad, but I'm just saying lower, smaller levels where they start from there. And of course, every perpetrator they start with fantasizing about it. Okay, and then some people fantasize about it and they forget and they just don't ever act on it. And there's people that go to level 2, level 3, and the worst of the worst. And with the power of technology, you don't have to be that guy that's going to go buy an unmarked van and have a spot to go to and a cabin in the woods or whatever the case is. You can just be the customer. You know what I mean? You had a question in the back.
Yeah. So also,
with your social media and stuff is like Xbox Live and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
There are a lot of people on there that are preying on young people. And that's a statement. My question is, with one of our sons, I downloaded everything from his computer that was sent to him and showed it as evidence, and I was told that it couldn't be used as evidence because I couldn't prove that person was actually the one putting those.
You're right. Like I said, people make up their own. Like I could say that I'm Joe Walsh and I live in Hickory, North Carolina, And there could be a Joe Walsh that lives in Hickory, North Carolina. But I've copied his Facebook, and I'm texting you what I want you to know, what I want you to hear, trying to get with you. You go to the police and like, hey, Joe's trying to get with me. I'm like, it's kind of like when people call you from other countries trying to harass you, trying to get you to buy stuff. I've been on so many calls of people 60, 70, 80 years old that will do a second mortgage on their home and send these people $70,000, $80,000, and then when they figure out they've lost it, they're like, "Hey, how do you get that back?" I'm like, I don't know. I wish I could help you, but
you don't.
You
Well,
can't.
it was just so frustrating as a parent because we could not do anything to that person.
And like my son's got Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus, whatever it's called. Anytime they purchase something on there, even my daughter to this day, she's getting married next week. When she purchases something on Microsoft or PlayStation, I get an email. So I have everything my kids buy online, I get an email.
Josh, may I answer that question?
Yeah.
I worked Special Victims Unit at South County Sheriff's Office for a while. It was way too long to be in that field. I enjoyed my job. I love putting people in prison for the rest of their lives, 3 lifetimes in a row for doing bad things to our children. So I don't feel bad about it at all. I'll smile at them and wave. But then, to answer your question over there, ma'am, it is disturbing because we do get cases like that. It is morally wrong, but it's not against the law. So it's to entice children. And and I'm not trying to preach about anything, but until we have laws enacted where grooming children underage, then we can charge that. Right now, our hands are tied. Okay. Now, if you showed me proof of saying, hey, whether this guy's local or from Pennsylvania or whatever, that hey, he's enticing, he's grooming my son or my daughter, and you can show us that proof, we can just tell you, hey, do what you can on our end, because right now what can we do? You know, it's not against the law yet. I mean, as of now. So it's frustrating because I get those cases, and it's disturbing. You know, I want to go up there to Pennsylvania or wherever and have a talk with this guy. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? So it is very, very hard because we do have, like, for example, we had a case where somebody was from up north and he was enticing our boys here. He was paying stuff through paying for games and whatever they do on Xbox. He's paying out of his pocket as long as they return him a favor with some pictures. So then that way he whatever he does to it, I don't know whether he sells it, stores it, or whatever. And we had a case like that. So it does happen, and it's very frustrating. But it's crossing state lines, and now we get feds and stuff involved with that. But yeah, I feel you.
Stronger laws.
It's out of this county. I mean, it has to start from the top, and then we got to work from there. Kind of like y'all.
But the reality is, there's a lot of movie stars. There's a lot of politicians that are in this.
That's right. Yeah.
And
a lot of people think you can do what you want if you got money. You know, money can't get you out of everything. So, because once we get involved and you go to prison, that money don't do you no good, but buy you like a drink and a soda. So I mean, money.
It's not important to the politicians right now.
Yes.
It was they would do something about it.
So the way we go around it is that, you know, if I know that's disturbing, but then say the same guy, he's going to be in possession of what we call CSAM, and I don't know if you guys know what CSAM is. I don't like calling it child pornography because pornography it implies consent, right? But there's no child that can give consent. So CSAM is child sexual abuse material. So we try to go around the way, and if we find you in possession of it, which 99% of the time these people will be in possession of it, then that's just more black and white. You know, then it's 5 years per picture, video, whatever it is. So there's a way around that, but I get it from the lower levels, like, you know, and I'm saying lower, but like the initial part of it, yeah, it's frustrating.
Right.
I think one of the statistics I've seen, and I may not have the numbers right, but the sex trafficking is the biggest industry globally. But I've heard it's bigger than, you know, gun trafficking, drug trafficking.
It's way up there.
Yeah. You can sell a gun once.
Yes.
You can sell that pill once. That child or young adult can be sold multiple times a day, and their life in the industry, if you will, can be average 4 to 7.
I don't know if I have it in here, but a lot of sex traffickers, kind of like that one that sent that video, and the guy's like, "You're mine now." Well, some of them will never leave home. They will go to school like normal and say they're going to work, but they're working for that sex trafficker, and then go home at night because they don't want to bring attention. The trafficker don't want to bring attention to themselves, so they're making them money after school every day, but going home to their family at night. And you better shut up, or I'll kill your family. I'll kill your, they threaten them, but they're making that trafficker money, but they're living their normal life at home. That way, their parents aren't raised any awareness or anything. I didn't look that part up. What's the biggest industry? I know. When I looked it up, I think sex trafficking was the second largest.
Well, I know from what you were saying that I had read that they said that child sex trafficking in the United States was bigger than all major sports bring in combined.
It's a lot. Like I said,
NFL brings in $6 billion a year.
It's more than that.
You can imagine.
It's a multi-billion-dollar company. Yeah.
Another thought to this too is it's not always a stranger. Sometimes it's the parent that's doing it for their drugs money or for whatever, and
that's why you're saying about the step parent. Sometimes it's a step parent.
And it doesn't have to be like the movies where they snatch their child. It could be simple as like, I need to get my fix.
Right.
Now here's my 5-year-old daughter or son. You do what you got to do with them, and then as long as I get my money or drugs, and that's sex trafficking right then and there. But on the smaller level.
But it probably escalates,
Oh, yeah. Well, the more it's just like a thief or anybody like that. The more you get away with, you're like, okay, well, I can do this level. I can do this level, until you get caught, and you're like, oh, wow.
How much do you guys actually see in our area of kids being picked up from the mall or teenagers at the gas station or that kind of thing?
Well,
Kind of scary.
I don't want to put a number on that. The extreme where what we see in the movies, where and then I don't know if you guys heard her question over here or not. Okay, her question was, do we see that locally where kids are being snatched or picked up from the malls or any other stores around in our Catawba County area? I haven't heard of any. Now I haven't heard of multiple reports of where there's a guy following us, he's following me and my daughter or whatever the case is, and it's near Memphis, but luckily and fortunately we have it is a smaller town, so law enforcement response is a lot quicker than say Charlotte, and I don't want to put Charlotte down, but it's just a bigger city and there's a lot more people, and of course that affects the response time with traffic and whatever. But with us here, we do have a faster response time, so we do get there quicker, and these bad guys know that if whatever we got to do, we got to do it quick. Within 5 minutes, we got to be in and out and be done. And sometimes it takes less than that, but they're just being more cautious. Now, there is sex trafficking here. I'll promise you that. We have found some, and we have shut them down. I don't know. I don't want to. I know we have our friends out there on the internet and whatever the case is, but yes, it's here. I promise you that it's here.
No, luckily for Catawba County, all Catawba County schools have a resource officer now. So if like most of your people that are trying to snatch kids try to do it at a bus stop, or they're hanging around the playground watching kids. So luckily we're alerted really quick, and we get a lot of school bus stop complaints, and we're out there the next day, or we're out there a couple of days in a row watching. All right, well, this guy was staring at our kids, so we shut, like you said, we try to shut it down quick, because luckily there's a bunch of us out there. I think every one of our schools has a resource officer now. I think all city schools do now. The only ones that I know for sure that probably don't are like your Concordia, Lutheran, and all that. But we try to all, like Conover will go to there. We'll stop by other schools. We'll kind of check in, check out, because we all help each other out, no matter whether you're county, city, whatever. So we're there for the kids. That's what we do the job for. Yep.
So I know this is not you guys' responsibility, but does the county do a pretty good job of prosecuting people like that in this area? I mean, are they stern with it?
I can say if one of our kids are a victim of a crime, it goes to it takes priority over the drugs, over the larcenies and stuff. We don't play.
But as the court system, I mean, are they actually handing down?
I'm gonna show you one of those here in just a minute from Catawba County, and it wasn't good for him. So like we pretty much already went over a lot of this, what to look for with sex trafficking. But some of them are going to be malnourished. They're going to be dirty. They're not going to look at us. They're going to stick with whatever trafficker they're with. And if we're talking to the parent or the trafficker, they're not going to say a word. They're not going to give us eye contact. Some of them will have tattoos or branding. Most of the time it's on their neck. More on the human trafficking side is that you're going to have the children working in a small family restaurant that don't belong to that family. Like you said earlier, massage parlors, stuff like that. They're going to use them in there. Most of them, the houses that they stay in, they have security fences around them, and they try to keep them in basements. That way they can't, I know the movies depict that a lot. Sometimes that's true. They'll keep them in the basement where they can't get out. They can't have any contact with anybody. They don't let them go into the public alone. Usually, unless it's the ones that they're trying to work and let them go home at the end of the day, and they got them like that, you're not going to see them go out to the mall and hang out because they're afraid they're going to turn them in. So right here, sex trafficking in Catawba County. This man is 76-year-old Robert Oliver Parker from Hickory, North Carolina. On August 7, 2020, Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Department of Homeland Security received a cyber tip about a user communicating with and receiving sexually explicit images of a minor from an individual in the Philippines. The tip led investigators to a large sex trafficking ring in the Philippines. So far, they have identified at least 68 victims that were directly victimized by Parker or by other clients as of November 22. The North Carolina SBI got involved and they discovered that from 2010 to 2020 that Parker received more than 16,000 images from an individual in the Philippines. They were of more than 30 underage girls. In February of 2021, the SBI went to Parker's house to ask him about the information they had received, and Parker admitted to contacting people from the Philippines, stated that he had also traveled to the Philippines to engage in sexual intercourse with females while filming and photographing his intentions with them. Parker also stated that he sent money to his contact on a monthly basis. So he may not have been trafficking them here, but he was funding it the best he can, and he was making trips over there and taking advantage of these kids. Robert Parker is currently sitting in a North Carolina prison on a 22-year sentence. It's not long enough.
That's still saying until we get the sentencing guidelines changed. Like that's
and we'll do our best to arrest them, but once it goes to court, it's on them. Go ahead.
So, with this individual working with people out of the Philippines, did they do any cyber research and find out where those locations were in the Philippines?
I think they actually went over there, and they found. Let's see, he was getting emails and stuff. And I'm not 100% positive, but I think they found where he was going, and that's how they rescued those kids. So, and it's not like we said, children not for sale, but I know they didn't get everybody over there, but they did rescue some of those kids. No, he was going there. Yeah, he was going there. The sex trafficking make money. Sexual exploitation earns 66% of the global profits of human trafficking. The average age of a sex trafficked child is 13 to 14 years old. A pimp can make up to $150,000 to $200,000 a year per child. 1 in 3 children who run away from home are approached by a trafficker within 48 hours of running away. Some facts. Average age of exploitation is 13 to 14 years old in the U.S. Children as young as 3 months old have been sold in the U.S. Yes. Victims come from all communities across the United States, no matter your race, your gender, how much money you have, they traffic everybody. Every 2 minutes, a child is trafficked to be sexually exploited in the United States. Traffickers also exploit males and females. It's not just a female thing. They'll take males as well. Right here's your answer. It's a $150 billion industry. So it's a whole lot more than the... Yeah. Human trafficking is the second largest criminal enterprise in the world. The number of cases increase every year in the U.S. The National Human Trafficking Hotline reported a 40% increase in reports in 2020 compared to 2019. More than 100,000 children are exploited annually in the U.S. That's a high number. And you wouldn't think, the U.S. is as good as we are at everything here, that would be that high. You're right. Out of sight, out of mind, pretty much.
But I will say that in a lot of public
restrooms, when you go into public restrooms, a lot of the stalls now have or the walls have something on there. If you're being trafficked, it has a number for you.
If I'm out and I try to use a single stall that the door locks behind me, that's usually what I try to do. Or if my kid goes, I stand right there at the door. No matter how old they are, they're always going to be your kid. Or, my wife, if she goes, I'm going to wait on her. Because I don't trust anybody, especially when I'm out of town. I'm from Catawba County for the most part, and I know a lot of people. When we go out of state, whatever, say, I'm going to stand there and wait. Because you never know. It could be a church-going guy that could be your trafficker. It could be a biker. You never know. Everybody dresses different because they want to fit in. Whatever crowd you're in, they're going to fit in. They're not going to stand out.
They want to make you feel more comfortable too. So.
Only 1% of victims are ever rescued. That's a low number. There are 14.5 million victims worldwide, and that shows again that second largest criminal enterprise. What to do if you think someone or yourself is being in danger? Certainly call 911. You can also call this number here, the National Human Trafficking Hotline, and they'll be able to tell you what you need to do, how you can help, give you tips. They'll give you where to go, and more than likely, if it's happening right then, they're going to tell you to call 911. But they can tell you a lot more than probably we know, because that's what they do for a living.
That is someone in trouble. I think it's holding a thumb in, and then is that a
some try that, yes. So I'm not exactly sure what it means, but I know I've seen that before.
Well, about the Facebook and social media. What about the Chromebooks the kids have at school?
Yeah, we've as resource officers, we have seen kids somehow. The school tries their best to block things that they can't use on there, but these kids are smart when it comes. Yeah. So if we catch, if we catch a kid that's on something they're not supposed to be on, the school was like, I didn't know you could get on that, and we learn from the kids as well by messing up. We don't take a mistake as just, wow, you made a mistake. Well, you've helped teach us as well. We didn't know you could get on that. How did you get on that? If we catch a criminal, sometimes we'll talk to them like, how did you do that? And sometimes they'll talk. And I learned that way too, They'll tell you, well, this is how I did it. I'm like, well, I appreciate it, And we learn. Yeah. And every kid has a Chromebook now, and that's the thing. Yes.
Back to the 1% that are rescued. Another seminar I was at was emphasizing the fact that many of the girls especially are so abused, even if they are rescued, many of them die.
Yeah, and that's why we try to send them to a lot of the places that'll counsel them, and we try to get them healthy, back on their feet, get them as much counsel as they can so they don't have the PTSD. And you get them the best you can, try to, get them, normalize them again. That way they're not walking down the road and like, are they trying to grab me? Are they trying to touch me? And that's hard. I get it, because like what we see every day, we try not to see the worst in people. We try to see the best in people. But we know when something's, it's kind of like the Spider-Man. You get that spidey sense on the back of your neck. Your hair start raising. You're like, I know this ain't right.
Well, I think it's important, too, as a parent, you want to just put your kids in a bubble and not let them do anything. Because this is all so overwhelming. But it's important to remember that they've got to live still.
And if you try to put your kid in a bubble, they're going to push away from you.
Yeah.
And there's a fine line between being a good parent and then like, okay, I'm going to trust you a little bit, but
if you can't hover,
if you hover, you push them away. It's kind of like our kids are getting older, but all right, you need to go to church. But if I, keep going, come, they're going to go, I don't want to go. I don't want to get up. But if you push them to do the right thing, let them make a few mistakes, but be right there with them to teach them why they made that mistake, how to fix it. Because none of us are perfect. If you have to, go to your resource officer if you have one. I've sat down with a lot of people before with the parents and hey, can you tell them why they shouldn't do this? We'll be glad to help. That's why we're there. We're a mentor. We're not just there to arrest people. We're there to make sure they do right from wrong. If they need advice, that's what we're there for. A good resource officer is going to be there like that. When I was at the high school, kids called me by my first name because they felt comfortable with me. Being from this area, I knew the majority of them. I knew their parents. Get to know them because when they're in trouble, they might come to you. I've had several of them come to me. I made a mistake. How do I fix it? And that's what we're there for. If they feel comfortable coming to you, that's a good thing. You've done your job. And then I took one to jail twice the whole time she was at the high school. And the day she graduated, she said, I want to thank you for getting me to graduation. Because without you, I wouldn't have seen this. I wouldn't have done this. And it's a hard thing to see at the time when you're handed down, you're charging them for this or charging them for that. But you don't just charge them and be like, hey, you're getting this. Explain to them why they're getting charged. Explain to them why they could get charged. Everybody makes a mistake, and that's the one thing being at the high school, I like, look, I can charge you for this, but I'm not going to. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to correct your behavior. And parents and kids, they both come to you and they thank you. And it's one child thanking you is better than none. So, and if you're from Catawba County, I got on here, you can call 911, but if it's a non-emergency, if you just see somebody, and whatever county you're from, you call the sheriff's department or whatever, I'm sure they have a non-emergency number. So if you just see somebody suspicious in Catawba County, you can call 828-464-3112, and that goes to our communications center. And then they'll dispatch us one. We'll either call you or come out and talk to you. And that frees up 911 for actual emergencies that are going on, like shootings or whatever, because you never know what's going to happen. But for information, or if you just need somebody to come out, just call that number, and they'll get you in contact with one of us. Tell them exactly what you want, and they'll get you hooked up with the right person that you need, so they don't just send. So if you got a drug problem, they're not going to call this person. They're going to, okay, well, we need a narc to call you, or we need this person to call you. That way we're not just running around trying to get you the right person.
I know the nuisance police have told us in our neighborhood that if you see a car that's hanging around that's not from one of the houses and it's just always hanging around, to call them because they can always come out and just find out why are you here.
Yeah, if you've lived in a neighborhood 10, 20 years old, or 10 or 20 years, and you're like, well, that's not who's supposed to be in that driveway, or they've been there 10 hours sleep or whatever, call us. We'll come out and look at it. And it could be somebody just house sitting, because our daughter does a lot of house sitting. But it's good to have a community watch system. And some people, you can turn around somebody's driveway and you're a criminal. So just pay attention. Don't call in everything you see. Just keep watch. So a lady from this organization here sent me some of this information. It's North Carolina Stop Human Trafficking. They have their own website that you can go to, and you can go in there and you can join them. You can send money to help them do research. There's an email on there, so I emailed her, and she's already got me going to a class, I think, in February about this. So it's a good resource. I'll give you a minute to get that for her. But MC Stop Human Trafficking.
You may want to add cybersecurity type stuff to this so that people know how to deal with the technology. I've been working in that field for about 15 years, and we do the same thing to get into places. We profile it, we figure out how to get in, that kind of stuff. It may be advantageous to show people how to prevent your kid from going to set at blah, blah, blah.
All right.
Be helpful. What we found in that line of work is that it's high benefit and low risk. I can go steal money from your account just by doing these things.
I got a bill due, so I'm gonna holler at you. Go ahead.
Good point. That's very good.
So that's all I have. So any more questions?
Well, there's also the other thing, and a lot of times kids are doing research, and I don't know which it is, but there's like the one that's when they look up, there's like 2 different sites, and if they look up the wrong site, they're going to have pornography come up.
Yeah, and that's the one thing, like what she was saying with Chromebooks.
Yeah.
If the kids are on that, the teacher sees it. And we've gotten so many tips from teachers, like, well, they were looking up drugs on this one, or they were looking up how to build a gun on this one, or how to sneak a gun in, or how to do this. Chromebooks, they get on them, but we can see everything they're on. Yeah. Well, I mean, I couldn't do this stuff today without a textbook.
Yeah, but you know, when we have winters for life, we learn that.
Anybody have any other questions? Yep, there you go.
Is there a blocker that cars can do for like rings and stuff?
Say it again, I didn't hear you.
Is there like a blocker or something that cars can do to not be picked up on ring cameras and stuff? The reason I ask is because our neighbor straight across the street from us, these girls were out with neighborhood kids, and the guy kept driving by, and we're at a dead-end street, so it's obvious.
I think ring cameras pretty much pick up about everything.
Hers nor mine did.
Really?
And she did call the police, and they came out and talked to them.
Have you heard of that?
But I checked mine, she checked hers, and we're on a dead-end street.
Are they not seeing the car or the license plate?
At all. Like, it's like they went past and it didn't trip off mine or hers.
Is it a certain distance, maybe, you think? Because that might be it. Cause
I probably get 50 a day of people going back and forth, so then to not see it when we want to see who it is and try to see.
Ring cameras help us out a lot because they're clear.
To try to show maybe there's some kind of blocker. Somebody said that there are some blockers now that
I'll look into that because I haven't heard that.
To not be picked up on security cameras, but I didn't know if it was true or not.
Because I know some people used to drag chains from their cars, whatever, because it would mess up our radar, stuff like that. But I've never. It's kind of like why the black things on your license plate are illegal, because when you go through, it can't pick up the tag number. But I haven't heard of that.
I was just going to say, we used to have ring cameras too, and it seemed like there was like a time delay after something happened for it to come on. It was like every time something happened, it never showed up. So we just hardwired cameras because it's like we never could see anything going on because it would just go past, and then maybe 5 or 6 seconds later it would come on. By then they're gone.
Yeah, I'll look into that because I've never heard that.
Yeah, her and I both saw the person and thought it was odd because they don't, dead end street. They don't, not somebody you know of, but they just kept coming back and forth. And then she called but wanted me to pull up my cameras, and neither one of us could get it.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
Odd, and then I don't know if it's true or not, but I just wondered.
Yeah, that's something I'll look into.
Is it a wireless camera?
No, it's Ring. I mean, it is wireless. It's through, it's on the front, but it's through Spectrum then. So it's not hardwired. I don't know.
It's not hardwired. That could be a wireless.
But it's just odd that both hers and mine, we're
Yeah,
straight
because
across from each other.
we use ring cameras a lot because people don't know you have a ring camera. They go like porch pirates. You steal your stuff from Christmas or whatever you have. Perfect vision.
A lot of times when they do that, they got to get right up on the camera. When cars go by, it's probably hit or miss.
Because some of the cameras we have on some of the colleges we work, you'd think the car's going 30 miles an hour in a 10-mile-an-hour zone, but it's the glitch. And 1 minute you see it, and then it's gone. So I'll look into that.
Is there a specific safety app that you would recommend? Like I've heard Live 360.
Live 360 is good. What did we use?
Google something.
I can't remember the one we used to use. Live 360 is really good because I know a lot of people that use that.
I know that the neighborhood, that Ring's got the neighborhood app, and you can do stuff with it too.
Yeah, so I'm a part of the neighborhood app. A lot of people that live in a certain neighborhood will put stuff on there, like stuff out of the way, or So you might want to look up on there and see if you have a neighborhood app. Like I started the Bunker Hill side, so I'm part of the Bunker Hill one, and then you have like the Catfish side, the Conover. Look that up, the neighborhood.
I don't know the name of the app we used. It was a long time ago. But there are apps you can purchase to put on the phone that, as a parent, you have control of that kid's phone, to where you can limit, if you want them to only have access to online for an hour, you can set it up to hour and it shuts it down. You're only allowed a certain amount of time.
On an iPhone, you can just do it through screen time.
Yeah.
However,
And then the kids figure out how to get around it.
Figure out how to get around it.
Been there, done it.
See if I can get this right. I've had occasion to see two teenage, very beautiful young ladies just be exposed to all of these potentials because of battles going on between parents and the court system. And I've had the opportunity to sit in the court system and watch what's going on. And I got to tell you, I mean, the attorneys are making a ton of money and they're dragging this stuff out. But in some cases, and I'm not saying this is the case all the time, the courts still do want to lean heavily towards mom. Well, in
you're right.
some, in many cases, mom's on drugs. Mom's doing the illicit stuff, and yet she's got the child. And so since it's such a prolific financial industry, I mean, that's another dynamic that we have to think about, because how many times now are we seeing even grandparents raising children because of what's going on?
Well, as a resource officer, we see that a lot.
And I was sitting in the court one day waiting for another case to come up, and it was the mom was murdered. And there were two, whatever you want to call them, dads, baby daddies, whatever. I can say that here, right?
Yeah.
Baby daddy. Fighting for custody of one beautiful young girl and a child, and they both had extensive criminal records. So I mean, right now our system is really not, is also facilitating the proliferation of this. And,
luckily for us in Catawba County, we have some good social workers we get to work with.
Yeah, these things were not in Catawba, actually.
Yeah. I think my social worker, I was over 4 schools, but she was at least once or twice a week she was there. And, if I saw something, I'd tell her. If she saw something, she'd tell me. So we worked really good together, and we made a lot of home visits. And then we made sure, I know we did, I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all do too, but we would go check on these kids, especially if they missed so many days. Because if your child misses more than 10 days unexcused in Catawba County, we make home visits. And then we tell the parent, look, they miss another day, you get charged. If the student is so old, like high school, they can get charged for not coming to school. So we do a lot of home visits. If we see the kid coming to school in the same clothes 2 or 3 days in a row, we make that home visit.
Well, we're blessed here, but again, in other counties, not so blessed, depending on where it's at. I mean, one of those agencies had mandated that a dad take a child. Required, you take her. So he did. Mom starts getting better mentally, goes back to see mom. The child moves to a different county. The one who mandated the custody wouldn't have anything to do with it because she was in a different county. I mean, and these are neighboring counties. And the child
it's amazing how different it is once you cross county lines.
Right. So, I mean, and I guess the moral of the story is you have the obvious things like what we're talking about here, but two, if we're aware of some of these dynamics, anything we can do to start helping.
Luckily for us, we've got some judges that'll if a kid misses so many days of school or if the parent's not doing right, like, look, for each day your kid misses school, that's a day in jail. So we have some like that. And most of the time it works.
That's okay. I was just going to ask, whenever you say you watch out for stuff, what kind of stuff do you watch out that maybe we as a community could watch out for?
So basically, like we were saying earlier, like if you notice a car sitting around at bus stop time, or that you never noticed before, and they're just heavily looking around, and then you see them more than one time that they're not from the area, but okay, they were here last week, they were here 2 weeks ago. What are they doing here? Call us. If you see kids, like I said in the thing there, they won't make eye contact That's just some kids just being
Some are shy.
But if they're hanging tight towards somebody, or if they always look filthy, always look dirty, call us. We'll come check it out. Tell the school counselor. Let them check into it. Let them tell us. We all try to work together on stuff like that. But anything out of the ordinary, just, even if you have to, keep notes on it. Okay. And if you call us, all right, last Monday I saw this. Same car showed up today. And if you can get a tag number without being noted, don't go right up and just stare at the tag number. But if you can get a tag number or a description of who's in it, that helps us out a lot. Because if I run the tag number and it comes back to some little old lady in Cheryl's Ford and it's I don't know, a tall Hispanic 20-year-old, it gives me somewhere to go. But and I can look her up and see if she has any grandkids or maybe that car's stolen. A lot of times it's a stolen vehicle. Because they don't want to drive their personal vehicle to go snatch kids half the time. They always try to get around it. But if you can get a tag number, a description, do it safely. Then let us know.
On the home side, I know that's the extreme side, but on the home side, whether grandma, grandpa, or mom or dad, or uncles or aunties, watch out for these mood changes in your children. Because our level is doing more mainly on the exploitation of your children, where they can say, you're going to do this, or I'm going to coerce or blackmail you, and don't share all your pictures, videos with your friends, your family, and whatever. So our kids fall victim to that. So to watch for their mood swings, their appetite changes, they get easily agitated. I think it's time to go and grab their phone. They're talking to somebody they're not supposed to be talking to.
And a lot of times it's a boyfriend-girlfriend problem in the high schools because they'll say, well, we've been dating a while, and they'll send them an explicit picture. They'll hang on to it, and if you don't do this for me, I'm going to show it to my friends, right? And that's what we do. That's what I dealt with a lot in the high school. And then for Snapchat, there is a place on there called My Eyes Only. Kids will hide things in there. We found a lot of stuff on there. So if your kid or grandkid has that, keep an eye on it.
Question about the private schools and stuff around Catawba County and Hickory Conover area. I know that there's SROs at all the Catawba County public schools, and you said some city schools, but what about the private schools and the Christian schools that some of our kids go to?
That's like a lot of the times we'll do school checks and we'll stop by. I don't know why they don't have one, but
Conover's going to have. They already have they're in the works with Conover Police, and they'll have their SRO stop in. They're talking about getting their own at some point. But I think it comes down to hey, who's going to pay for this? Private school. So I think there's a liaison type of thing going on, but then officially, no.
So I think the high schools pay for half our salary, and then I work at the college, and I think the college pays for our salary.
I know Concordia has been having an officer at ball games recently, in the past year or so. They have an officer present.
He's there during the day.
Is there during the day too?
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good, yeah.
I think it's sad we have to train the children today not to be afraid of everybody, or come pet my little puppy, or come pet my new puppy. It's in that white van. That they can't do that.
Yeah.
They know how to entice these kids.
So even back in the day, it was what we said to our kids: don't talk to strangers, don't take baby to strangers.
Right.
So the internet, that's today's.
Good.
The question I have has more to do with health care. A lot of times when kids are brought into health care for whatever reason, to their physicians or a hospital or wherever, because of the HIPAA requirements, what can you do if you suspect somebody, if you're working in those areas?
I would just go to your supervisor and let them contact us.
Well, because I know I ran into a situation we did in our department some months back, and we were really kind of in a quandary. We went to our social worker that's working in the hospital, but what happens beyond that?
Go to your supervisor
and let them go to the next person in charge, and they usually try to get it down the line to us, and sometimes they'll call us, or when he's an SVU, they'll go up there and do the interviews.
Are they not required to automatically
report it?
They are mandated reporters.
So like if you go and tell something to your guidance counselor, or the kid tells them and it's something like that, they have to tell us, or they get in trouble.
Even at health?
On a medical standpoint, there, say and I don't know much about females because I only have one daughter and she's getting older. So I have 3 boys, and I never heard this when I was working as a detective, where like a 10-year-old girl was given birth control. And I was like, in what world is that okay? I mean, and I didn't understand. It was because she was having irregular menstrual cycles. So, and when I first looked at it, I thought, oh my gosh, all day long. That dad is doing something to this girl. But that alone, it wasn't enough. You know what I mean? So, when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, that's the smoking gun or whatever. But then no, it was just the doctor verified that, this is for something to help for the irregular menstrual cycles or heavy bleeding. And so I was just like, okay, well that's new to me. But then so I just started to build my cases that way. But I get it. It is hard, and it's hard for us too, because when you say, hey, we want to make this something today, but as a whole, it's nothing.
That's why we don't just jump to conclusions. Something simple like that.
Yeah. And it's hard for you because you do your part and then you don't know where it goes. You know what I mean?
Right. You come up, Pastor.
Yeah. And I hate to do this, but this was an hour seminar. It's a long hour, and I think we could have more questions. Here's what I'm going to promise you. Josh is hungry, and he's going downstairs to get free food. And if you go downstairs to get free food, and we got a lot of it, so we need your help, then you can continue to talk to him and his partner in solving crime. That was better than saying partner in crime. But you can continue the conversation downstairs, and I'm sure you guys would be okay with that. Is that true? Yeah. They're getting paid for this, so I mean, this is on the top. They can be here as long as you want to. They get free food and you still get paid too. But let's give a big round of applause. And remember, you're the key person, because if you see something, say something.
Public tips help us more than anything.
And pass on what you learned here to the younger people. That we're blessed that some are here. We'd like you.
Might be nice to get that slide too.
Well, like I said, this is going to be posted on our. Huh?
Not all the slides, right?
Okay.
Yeah, just give me your email and I'll get it to you.
You'll hear Josh's voice. The videos are on there, and you can use the videos to teach stuff to your kids and grandkids.
Yeah, I'll get it to you.
You could have some of those.
But everybody head downstairs. So if you came in the one door, the same stairway.